records online with Uptown. And I know NY, you know Uptown Records.
Of course, I mean, I remember I bought Chiambe Kwabe's album from there. I bought a number of singles from there as well.
So this is not the first time we're having a streaming platform.
But why the stress on this is not the first time we are having a streaming platform? Has anyone laid credence to the fact that?
Yes, in their write-up to the media houses, that's what they wrote. They said, Ghana's first streaming app. It's not true, please. Ghana for anything, but you need me for sir. Sometimes I don't know why we want to make things as if say technology do Ghana has it.
But I mean, is that really relevant? The app has been launched. I mean, the essence of the app.
No, I am coming.
The corrections has to be made.
No, NY, you see, sometimes we are in an environment where people want to change the narrative just for their, I don't know, giving credit to whom credit is due. And what does it take from us?
Uptown is still not in existence, right?
Uptown is not, yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't really negate the fact that it was there before you came. CPP and the UGCPP, they've been part of history. So when we are referring to the political chronicles of the nation has been, their names will not be left out of the conversation.
Sure.
So MPP, NDC now. So must we say that CPP never existed? Or MPP is the first political party in Ghana here? No, please. And now, have you downloaded the app?
I did yesterday, but I've uninstalled it again.
Why?
I'll explain later.
And that is what I'm here to explain.
The question is, the app has been launched.
And why? It's not an app. It's not an app. It's a non-starter for me.
Why do you say it's not an app?
Okay.
Is that not something the industry really needs? Is it not what the musicians have been crying for?
No. The last time we were here, I mean, it was in the, when they met the creatives, these were some of the things that they made it known to them. And I said, it's not what we need.
But these are the same creatives who suggested it. So then you, the creatives, what do you want? Are you confused?
Who suggested?
No, the creatives never suggested. That's why the last time when I was here, I made mention of the fact that one, if we have these, agencies who are representing the interests of these creatives, and they are a force to reckon with, especially in decision making, they would rather go to meet these people with their agendas and what they want them to do for them.
And before you go on, information that I gather indicates that Musica and a few others suggested this to the vice president. That's how come that's been part of his agenda. And then again, like Gamro, which is responsible for the rights and rights collection and all that, there's going to be another app for them to be able to monitor, these radio stations and now take the rights royalties for musicians. And so another app is in the making.
Anyway, it's up the way to go. It's up the way to go.
I mean, if it makes life easier.
Digitalization, is it all about apps?
No, but if it's not about digitalization.
No, I am talking about you see.
But what I'm saying is that
digital streaming platforms. That is why I'm saying digitalization. I'm not limiting it to the thought of these people who think probably I'm just here to undermine somebody's political message. No, I'm talking about digitalization because we are talking about digital streaming platforms. Now, NY, where we find ourselves now, do we have the backbone for these things that we are doing? Do we have the infrastructure for these things that we are doing? Do we have the data centers for these things that we are doing? Or is just a flatter apps that we are introducing into the system?
Well, I mean, whatever it is that we have, these are flatter apps. We the backbone obviously stays with someone else. We are just developing apps. Is there anything wrong with that?
So much wrong. So much wrong. And why? Here, if you know people who are deep-rooted in technology advancement, and how we can make good use of technology to our advantage, solving business problems and other things. It goes beyond just having an app. And even with these apps, if you install these apps, you know that this is not the standardized one, because if you want to do something, this is Ghana that we are talking about. And some of these apps that they do launch, some of the reviews are goes back into date as far back as 2020, 2021. Review portals now be my reviews almost 2020, 2021.
Well, I mean, they get to update it, they get to work on it, and relaunch. There's nothing wrong with relaunching apps.
Relaunching with a new name?
Of course. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong.
Is there anything wrong with that?
There's so much wrong with that.
We had MTN, known as what? Ariba. We had Space Phone. They relaunched, they rebranded themselves and relaunched. There's nothing wrong with businesses doing that.
Easy. NY. What you're saying is kind of interesting. You see, one, there is nothing wrong with the business rebranding, because I know Nigeria became YFM,
of course.
But the old ways of Nigeria is not what YFM is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if YFM continues to do Nigeria things, then it means that there is no need for even rebranding, because your mindset and everything that you were doing is the same.
But of course, there's been a name change.
A name change doesn't bring anything to the table. It only brings cost to us as people. Because one, after changing the name, which you incurred cost, what has changed with your narrative? It's not about just changing the name. Changing name there, and you're gonna do it. It's so expensive to change the name of an organization just for changing namesake. But you must change how things are being done. That is the way to go. So if this thing this phone, check the last time Samsung actually brought a new model of a Samsung phone. You are using the S20. Is that also?
Yes.
Is the 22 same as this one?
No, I mean there's modification.
Why those modifications? Because they have grown to a certain point that they've realized that the problems of today, we cannot use the tools of yesterday in solving them.
But let's not forget that people do not just change names because they want to change whatever it is they do. Changing of business names could be for business purposes and not necessarily because we are going to change the line of activity we do.
No, probably an improved.
It could be the same, but with a different name. It doesn't mean anything.
And why?
Business reasons. People have different reasons for changing or rebranding their names.
Those people who change names for business reasons is to their interest.
Of course.
One, probably some of them want to run away from taxes and other things. Probably that is the way to go, because if you want to, Charlie, you're not a directors, you're ton shares, so let's rebrand. That is to make businesses. But adding up to these things, I'm saying that I just use YFM as a case study, and are you doing the same thing that was done way back? No.
Of course, no.
So I am just saying that we are in the 21st century, and if we want to do stuff, especially where we want to get things done right, not any for just any political cause, any political max beer, and we want to do it right, the thing must be done well. And why? Look.
So what do you make of the app? You've downloaded the app, you've used it, you've seen it.
I know, I reviews,
You don't think this is what the industry needs? You don't think this is good for the Ghanaian creative?
I asked 3 simple questions, or 4 of them. I said,
why
do we have the backbone?
Are you Mahama?
No,
asking 5 questions.
No, I'm not Mahama.
Okay.
But probably I'm a Ghanaian, so I can ask questions.
Okay, go ahead.
So the Ghana and the Mahama all ends with A.
Yo.
So I'm saying that, do we have the backbone?
As in the infrastructure?
No. Do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the data centers? Or is just a flatter app that we just flooding the system with?
But I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, the app is out there. They have music on there. It's only left with Ghanaian creatives to upload their music for Ghanaians to stream from there. Artists make their money, all parties make their money, royalties and all that. Isn't that a good way to go?
And why? Do you know that Ghanaians are making money online already?
Of course. So if there are more avenues, isn't it a good thing?
No, more avenues as to what?
Like with the creation of the GMX app, is it not a good thing? Because if that's going to be another stream of revenue for the creative, is it not good?
How do we monitor?
How do you monitor Apple Music?
There's a Ghanaian owned stuff, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So the competition is between the Ghanaian owned music platform, that of Apple, that of Spotify, that of YouTube, that of which we all know. That one. Now, the structure as to how YouTube actually pays us is not viably known to all of us, but there is a way they go about their payments. So as to Spotify, Apple Music, and the other apps that we know. Now, Ghanaians are not crying because we don't have apps to stream songs, because we've already gotten the Boom Plays, the Audio Max, and other people in here already. But now, if Ghana wants to up our game, then let's look at why is the Ghanaian artist still crying. It's not just the non-existence of a streaming app. It's the non-existence of structures that safeguards the tomorrow of the artist or the creative. Now, I'm saying, and why? Just the app alone is not what we need.
But of course,
let's build a structure.
Isn't that a starter?
Bruh, now who nyansi dan also akakoto air condition ba bobo demo.
Only structure now to me fair condition.
Now the condition
but they built the app on somebody's structure, which is not bad. A lot of the apps we have here are built on structures created by other people.
A nation like Ghana. Boasting of digitalization.
Hold on. The point is that no, Mula, let's get it right.
No, yes. No. Obi, no, they come asem.
Whatever app it is that we have, whoever is developing any app, it has to go through processes to be approved either by Google or Apple, so that you can find it on those stores to be able to download them. Now, those backbones or those platforms or those structures have been built by somebody. They are just hosting your app on there for you. That's exactly what all the other platforms are doing. All the apps we have, they are also all on there. Maybe apart from Apple, who obviously is a big organization, so they run their own stuff. They have their own data. They, like Facebook, they have their own stuff. If you develop an app, you don't expect to have all those structures in place before you develop an app.
Anyway,
let's not forget that
we are talking about a nation, Ghana. We're not talking about an individual.
No, hold on. One thing we need to understand is that GMX app does not belong to the country Ghana. It's a private-owned business.
No.
It's a private-owned business. That's one thing we need to understand. The vice president only attached himself to it for the whole, thing.
Really?
Of course.
Elaborate more on that.
I love it when these informations do come out, because you know what? We're in a political season and everything is being politicized. But the fact is, we can't always find our way through the minds of people by always political issues around a month leading to the political voting month. And why? Okay? All these things that we are saying, now we know China. China is the fastest growing economy in the world. What has been the thing? They have their apps. There are some of the apps that you get to China right now, for the last time you shared with us. There are several other people who join us on this platform. When you get to China right now, when you go to even Dubai, there are some apps that don't work in there.
Of course. They are blocked.
And they'll give you access to other platforms that you can use that will be monitored, that will be beneficial to them as a country.
If you go to China, they don't use WhatsApp, they use WeChat. Yeah.
Why so? Because they want to control the narrative.
It's owned by them, produced by them.
The infrastructure, the backbone and everything is owned by China. And if we, as people, we are thinking about building something that, these artists, these creatives, we can enroll all of them onto it. Why can't we have the data centers for such conversations? Why can't you have the structure for these things?
You want government to build that for a private venture?
And why? If we are to look at, or if we are to probably write to, if we are to write to RTI and ask for how much was spent on this app, the launching and everything, it will surprise you that the monies that has gone down the drain can build us those things that we are complaining we don't have money to build.
So let me find out from you finally. Is the app relevant? Is it a good thing?
Apps
for the
are relevant.
Creators? So if
apps has always been part of the digital stuff that is happening around
like
the world.
I asked you earlier.
So digitization and digitalization would always be part of the narrative. But there is more. The foundation in it. Foundation in it.
But we have the Accra Guitar Center. What do they do?
No, say me bisa.
You know why are you asking me?
Minim de omo ye.
Yo yate. Mechi.
Because one, anyway, if we have database as a nation, as we keep talking about it, then your passport number should have been your passport number for the rest of your life. Every 10 years or every 5 years, if you have to go and renew your passport, you'll be given a new passport number. Do you know why?
But your Ghana card number is your number for life. It has even replaced your SNIT number and your all that.
So your passport is not needed?
I mean, that's why when you go to the bank now, they don't accept your passports.
No, that was just an LI that was put in place, and the banks needed to adhere to it. It's not actually, it's working now. It's working now, but somebody can also later on, by law is actually, they say justice lies in the bosom of who? The judge. So the judge decided this time around it's about this because of maybe.
But as it stands, the point is that is what it is. That's the Ghana card.
But I am saying that I'm not saying Ghana card is not good though.
I've not said that.
Yes, so I'm saying that with my Ghana card, I had my passport number in there. I had other NHIS and other things that were actually also entered in there. But I'm just saying that my passport number has changed, but now I don't have access to my Ghana card to even change that part of it. I'm saying that. And why? If we have strong database, there is no need for you to go back and forth. Anytime your biodata is required to do something in Ghana here.
So you feel we need the infrastructure and not just build apps? All right.
Now,
so that's Mr. Bones.
Collecting information here
this morning on the creation of the Ghana Music streaming app or the Ghana Music Experience app. He feels, listen, I mean, it's quite easy to build an app to have all the content on there, but the backbone, the infrastructure needs to be built, because all the things you see on your phone, all those things, the data is being kept somewhere, the data is being housed somewhere. And Ghana, for instance, our data is being housed by different countries. And that means that once our data is exposed, and I've even had concerns about the fact that presidential candidates are sending me personalized messages and they even know my constituency I vote in. That's a breach of data. Breach of privacy, I must say. And I don't know what the data privacy agencies and all that are doing in this country, because that's a critical breach for presidential candidates to know where I vote and to send me information as to me voting for them on that. It's a serious data breach, which needs to be. Because I've not signed up to any party. That information is supposed to be exclusively with the Ghana Electoral Commission. So for that data to be accessed by political parties and they take it to advantage, that's a serious breach that needs to be looked at. But I'll get to Mula for him to also touch on the creation of the Ghana Music streaming app just for a second, and then we will go on to other parts of the conversation. But before that, let me remind you that if you want to be successful, you definitely